graphite powder paintings, LED architectural sculptures, and jewelry. Michael Lattanzio does it all, and I'm here at his studio in Cohoes, New York to get a look at the magic behind his work. Let's go.
I do many different things. I call myself a creator. I have had a love of art all my life, and I'm finally at a point in my life where I'm getting to meld my art with other passions that I've learned and had throughout my lifetime. When I start a painting, I usually start in the upper left-hand corner, and I keep everything covered because I'm right-handed, so that as I work, the working area is always covered. Reason being, I did a painting one time, I was halfway through it and I got into it and there was a fingerprint right in the middle of it. Went in the trash. My first real job was working for a car dealer. And I started sweeping floors, worked my way up to shop manager kind of thing, line mechanic. And I've always had a love of automobiles. From there, I went to the graphic arts industry. I got involved with a company printing t-shirts. That started a 25-year or so career in the graphic arts world. I was in my studio one time and I was playing around with something. I've always loved airbrush, and I've done some airbrush work. And I had started playing around with some of these geometric images, and I thought, well, I want this hard, metallic, metal kind of look to it. And I thought, well, airbrush is the way to go. But I just couldn't get the look I was looking for. And I remember one night sitting down, I took a pencil and just rubbed it on a piece of paper, and then took my finger and started smearing it around. And it's like, wow, there's something here. You know, and from that, it evolved into picking up a brush and a blending tool and this and that. Finally, I found the powdered graphite. That gave me the ability to create soft hues and soft interpretations, yet they still have that metallic, mechanical type of look to them. Finished the first painting in '97, and my technique, my ability has improved tenfold. The graphite paintings can run anywhere from 100 to 150 hours worth of work. I have a tray that I put the powdered graphite in, and I have brushes like any normal fine artist would have. You know, different shapes, different thicknesses, different points, that kind of thing. And I dip into the powdered graphite like another artist would dip into an oil or acrylic, watercolor, same kind of thing. I'll flick it off, and then it's just a very light touch sometimes. A lot of what you see, especially the dark areas, it's layer upon layer upon layer upon layer of graphite. That's why it takes so long, because it's not like you put down a color with a paintbrush and it's there. This, you start light, go to dark. I get tired, I get bored. You know, it's like I'm working on a painting and it's like, I've had enough, I gotta get my hands into something else. That's something new. COVID turned out to be a blessing. I'd like to have a year where I'd had nothing else to do. I didn't have to work, I had the resources just to go into the studio and see what would happen. COVID provided that. I've always had a love of two things, neon and architecture. And this is a way to be able to blend the two without actually using neon. These are LED lights, which are great. They're very low energy consumption. They generate no heat. You can change your color palette. You can set a mood in a room with these things. The first piece I did was a triangle. I cut the sides out, I put some paper in there, and I put a light inside of it, and it's like, wow, this is cool, you know? And that was kind of the beginning, and it's like, what else can I do with this? What else can I light? What else can I add this to? The Mayan pyramids, the regular pyramids in Egypt, that kind of thing. And then getting into regular architecture. By using plexiglass, I use the clear only for the edges. The edges light up. The rest of the clear doesn't light up, as you'll see in some of the pieces. But I also use frosted plexiglass, which gives off a soft glow It's a very diffuse light. It's not a pinpoint kind of light, even though the lights themselves are pinpoints. I've learned how to diffuse the light in certain images. One of the things I just did was a sign for myself. Using clear plexiglass, I cut a mask on the backside, painted it, pulled the mask, backlit it, and then put a diffuser panel in there, which evens the light out, which gives it that neon look. Unbelievable, holy cow, I've never seen anything like it, unbelievable. Those are just some of the comments. And I guess that's one of my goals, is to bring through to people something they've never seen before. From my signature to my graphite paintings, to these sculptures, to the jewelry, whatever. I love bringing stuff into this three-dimensional world that's never been here before. Getting into that space of creating, it becomes a very blissful experience. All of this construct we live in disappears. It matters not. Time almost stops. It becomes irrelevant. Because all that matters is what you're focused on right in that very moment. To me, that's blissful. To me, I would love to live in that space all the time.